Hello there, my dear friends. Martin Pavey here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm just out on a lovely walk at the moment and loving all of the incredibly kind and varied comments that I'm getting on this channel. I really do appreciate it. And today is sort of going to be on that theme that it all seems impossible until it's done. But before we do that, please do like, subscribe and share to spread these very important messages. I've experienced, I've been talking about this a lot recently, I've experienced a lot of confusion in my life, and what it's actually done recently is bring up two further issues actually. I'm sorry, I've got a bit itchy nose today. I've got my little bands on. Just find these things. I'm a bit of a weirdo, you know, why not? But these two issues, big issues, one of them about belonging, of not feeling that I'm ever in the right place. But that's the first issue. And the second is this emerging idea of a singularity of focus, that no matter what's happening in your life, that there's always a way through the struggle that you're facing. And whether you call it God or the universe or the cosmos, or cosmos if you're in the States, I don't know why you pronounce it in the Spanish way, because it's cosmos, it's cosmos. And you don't need a comma before an and and a but. But this idea that wherever you are, that somehow you feel like you're a duck out of water, that you don't fit in. Well, the thing is, the universe, God, doesn't make mistakes, okay? Doesn't make mistakes. And there's a reason for you being in the position that you're in, a whole course, you know, a whole series of experiences that you've had, and the way that you've behaved, the way that you've thought, you know, how you've actually acted in the world, that it brings you to the point that you're at now. And there's always a lesson to learn from it. So you're always in the right place. You're never in the wrong place. But sometimes it just feels like nothing makes sense sometimes. And you look at institutions and how people behave, and you think, what the fuck is going on here? It is terribly confusing and bemusing. But can I find something else ending in ing? It can be satisfying, you know, to actually let go of everything else that's happening around you, and realize that you're on a mission, and you have unique gifts and skills, and you have, very importantly, the resilience to be able to withstand whatever life throws at you. And I've spent a huge amount of time, I often said in past videos on different channels and in different blog posts, that I was isolating long before all of the COVID bullshit. You know, I was actually doing it for years and years and years before. And again, this idea of belonging and being in the right place, I needed to do that. And a huge hamper, you know, a huge hindrance to your progress is constantly judging yourself for being where you are, of saying how terrible you are and how useless you are and how pathetic and pointless your life is. And what's that going to do? Well, it's just going to keep drilling you down and down and down into despair. But I was up, I've just been saying don't judge yourself, and it is kind of a little bit embarrassing, but you know what, fuck it, sometimes it just happens. I was up really, really late last night, or early this morning, whichever you want to call it, watching YouTube shorts. And the thing is, I ended up sharing a couple of the videos from there on my Twitter, and sometimes you find little gems. And there was sort of a brief clip of two people talking on a stage, and it was a woman who'd obviously been through recovery from, drugs or alcohol or something like that. And she was speaking to another guy who was obviously in the throes of a marijuana addiction. And he said, after we've had this conversation, I'm totally going to go away and I'm going to lace up a doobie or whatever, have a spliff, smoke some grass, whatever term you want to use. And he said, yes, I know you will, but that doesn't matter. I'm not, the actual behavior doesn't matter. And I want to just give another little shout out to my lovely follower who left me an apps. Thank you, Andy, for leaving me your epic, I think, was it 5-paragraph comment? And I just really, really heartwarming, and I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. But I noticed that he'd actually left another comment on another video a little while ago, but when I actually went to click on it, it sort of looked like it had vanished. So I don't know if you edited it or not, but a little while ago I did a video about stopping drinking, and I have to hold my hands up and admit that after doing that video I did actually start drinking again, and now I'm going to have another stint of sobriety. And it's a good challenge because my mum and dad are coming up tomorrow, and there's lots of wine and champagne in the in the fridge and on my shelf, and actually I'm just going to leave it for them to have and not drink any myself. I'm going to make myself some iced tea actually. I've got lots of fresh mint in my cupboard, and yes, what the point I was going to make, but yes, the actual behaviour itself, the drugs, the alcohol, the whatever destructive behaviour it is, that's never actually the root problem. I talked about going in another video recently about going to what's the root cause of your behaviour. And any kind of addictive behaviour is always a mask for some other trauma that you've experienced in your life, and the way of medicating it. People just think that medication is pills that you get over a counter at a pharmacy. Well, no, it's not. It's having loads of random sex with people, or it's a porn addiction, or it's alcohol, or it's drugs, or violent crime. All of these things are not the actual root cause. They are the result of unaddressed trauma in your life. That's what it is. And alcohol, for me, is a massive cover-up. That's all it really is. And what you have to do is you have to address the problems that you're facing, what you're avoiding. And also, this is something that's really struck me recently, and it seems like an obvious thing for somebody who studied psychology and philosophy and human nature for such a long time, but things come to you at the right time and you develop understanding and wisdom over time. You can't rush it, and it comes to you when it comes to you. But we all have needs, and the truth is there isn't a single person in the world who's had every single one of their ideal needs met, because everything's imperfect in the world. The world of form is transient, and it's confusing, and it's chaotic, and we don't really understand it fully yet. But certainly there'll be things that you wanted to receive when you were young that you didn't, and you have to, as an adult, you have to take the responsibility to start giving that to yourself. And I've gone on a massive circle on this, but when I watched this video of these two people speaking about how the guy was going to go off and smoke weed or whatever, so well, the thing is, all of that is doing is masking. So well, the thing is, if you are able basically to stop the behavior, and rather than trying to avoid what it is that you're feeling, and people don't want to go down the rabbit hole, whatever that means to you. But the thing is, the woman on the stage who was mentoring this chap said, well, you have to go all the way down. You have to dig down, you have to go all the way to the bottom where you are most afraid. In the legends of the Wolfenbach legends of the Holy Grail. All of the knights of the Round Table were told to enter the Forbidden Forest at the point at which they feared most. And that's what you have to do. And it's really frightening. And to me, whenever I don't like to use the word shame, oh, it's a shame in that sense, so it's such a shame. But there's absolutely no doubt that I have always really enjoyed drinking wine and champagne, all these lovely things. But we all have different constitutions. And I know that when I drink, habitually, my life is not as good, because it dulls and dampens and sort of depresses all of the really strong, fantastic natural instincts within me and my creativity. And you wake up and you feel groggy, and this is something that I'm always reluctant to do. It's a bit of ego, a bit of pride, but I never like to attribute problems to getting older, because the thing is, I'm nearly 43, but I'm a very active and energetic person. But there is absolutely no doubt that hangovers and that lingering feeling of disappointment in myself really hangs over. It literally hangs over physically and mentally, and it feels a lot worse when as you get older, because because of course cumulatively you're poisoning the body more and more. So again, first day, no alcohol today. But the thing is, we avoid the painful feelings and we try and cover them up with whatever habit. But if you actually allow yourself, and this is why stillness and peacefulness are really important, and there are myriad ways that you can find that space where you can bring yourself back down to earth, and you can just sit in that discomfort. And it sounds like a really awful thing to do, a really frightening thing to do, but actually it's where the greatest inspiration from your life will actually spring forth. And you have to be disciplined, you have to be strong and resolute. But I think that if you're able to do that, there's absolutely nothing that you can't achieve. You honestly, as a human being, and this is something that I feel a lot, as a human being, you are so phenomenally and stratospherically capable of doing magnificent and meaningful and wonderful things. You realize the potential within each of us, within each individual sovereign human being, is so immense. And I believe that we do have divine power within us, that we have godlike powers of creativity and determination to actually make our lives so much better. And there are times where giving up things that we think are really important to us feels really annoying. You just really, I just want, for fuck's sake, I just want to be able to do that. But you have to always ask yourself, well, yeah, you want to indulge in the smoking or the drugs or the alcohol, sex, and all these different things that detach you from reality. And you have to ask yourself the question, well, how much do I want to do that destructive stuff compared to all of the brilliant stuff that you can do? And I have talked in the past, I will admit, about this sort of either or both thinking. But obviously you have to have some nuance in it. When it comes to really destructive behavior, you have to ask yourself, why, of your own free will, would you make yourself feel worse than you need to? Why, with your own free will, would you make your life lesser? Why would you want to sabotage yourself? And these questions are, most people don't ever ask themselves this question seriously, and they don't like to. And the thing is, even when I speak phrases like "you have to sit in your discomfort," it makes it sound, it does make you kind of it sounds really wanky, but it's a worthwhile question asking, because I know that if you're watching this channel, if you're watching any of these videos, you have greatness within you. You absolutely have greatness within you. And it would be such a shame to waste it. So and do you know what? I'll tell you what, oh my God, I was so nervous. Because when I got that comment from you, Andy, a few days ago, I thought, oh fuck, I've started drinking again. So I can't in good conscience record the video when I'm still drinking wine in the evening and buying a second bottle. I couldn't do it, and so I had to be honest. I said, hands up, I fell off the wagon. I've always wondered where that phrase comes from, but yeah, I started drinking again, and it's so tempting, but I don't want to live a demonic, devilish life. I don't want to live a life of unfulfilled potential, and I want to be able to be honest and authentic and actually really helpful. I want to practice what I preach. I hold my hands up that I'm a human being and fallible, but there's always room, there's always space to be able to go back to what it is that you really, really want to do. And you can have it. You can have it if you really want it. But you have to tackle the darkness within you. You have to tackle the demons and face them head on. And people berate things like films and video games and comics and all this kind of stuff, and they do so at their peril, because there are messages housed within. There are absolutely messages housed within that can really, really help you. And I hope that these videos help. I love doing them. I absolutely love doing them. And I'm nearly, after 3 months of doing this channel, I'm nearly at 30 subscribers. And to me, that is such a massive win. I can't actually, try as I might, I actually can't put it into words how brilliant that is. Because this channel, of all the channels that I've done, it's probably, I don't know, 5th or 6th, something like that, sub channel that I've done. This is the one that is really genuinely me. And to get the comments and interaction that I'm getting, and to be able to figure out the algorithm and to do shorts and to do, not shorts, but little shorts. I'm sure that millions of people have done that joke, but it's so heartwarming to actually create a community. And I know that I can record this video and I can be honest with you, and I'm just sharing the journey. I'm just sharing what's happening to me in my life. And I hope that there's some value in that for you. I think there is. I feel that there is. And this is just the beginning. We talk about potential, and the tiniest of acorns becomes the mightiest of oak trees. And it's the same with human beings. It's the same with all of us. It's the same with you. It's the same with me, that we can achieve fantastic things together if we are willing to do that stuff that the vast majority of people don't want to do. And I'm not judging them for it, because it's really humbling, and you berate yourself and you feel like you've wasted time, but you haven't. You just keep on plugging. You keep on going and believe in yourself. You have it within you. So thank you very much for listening. I really appreciate all of the comments, all of your support, all the wisdom that you're sharing, and the bravery and honesty I really admire in you that it takes to do that. So God bless. Have a wonderful day. Please do like, subscribe and share to spread these very important messages, and keep those comments coming, because I love receiving them, because I learn from you as well, and we can all help each other. So have a fantastic day, evening or morning, wherever and whenever you are, and I will see you on the next video. Ciao for now.